Hi everyone, it's Sylvia here today. Today I want us to talk about overeating. There are many reasons why we overeat, and that is what I want to break down today. Because the more you are aware of why you do certain things, why you're overeating, if overeating is an issue for you, the more you are aware, the more you take precaution, and the more you know exactly when it is happening. Um, and I always say that awareness is the beginning of a solution. Once you become aware of it, you know what to do to curb it, you know how to manage it. And there are many reasons why we overeat. It could be because of stress. You're stressed out, probably you're thinking of a project that you need to do, and because of that you're just um unconsciously trying to fill the void with food. You're just picking, nibbling, because you're finding it difficult navigating or understanding the project or whatever you're thinking about that is stressing you out. um and this is where journaling is so important, because when you find yourself in that state where you're stressed, or you see you're snapping at people, or your mood has changed, and reaching out for your journal and just writing, I feel so stressed right now, and it starts spilling out, and you eventually find out why you are stressed, and this would help you not reach for food because you're stressed. This will help you not reach for food when you're not hungry. It will help you find a solution, because once you know the problem, okay, probably it's there's something at hand that you need to tackle. You find solutions, you find ways, you ask yourself, how am I going to tackle this? Because once you are aware of it, there are ways to tackle it. There is no problem without a solution. And one thing you should know is that as long as you have identified the problem, you can find a solution to it. And the solution is not overeating or over snacking, or because it would not take away the problem. So that is one thing that can make one overeat. And also, when you're tired, when you haven't had enough sleep, when you're not scheduling your sleep time properly, you're not going to bed on time, or you're waking up too early and going to bed late. When you're not having the right sleep pattern for you, it shows up. You tend to eat more, you tend to overeat because you're tired and you're just looking for energy somewhere, especially if you work, you're meant to be at work and you're meant to be delivering, but you're feeling tired, down and sleepy. The next thing, you're just reaching for sugary stuff. You're just reaching out, nibbling on things because you're trying to stay awake, or you're trying to get your brain alert. And this is why self-care is so important. Self-care, and meaning planning your sleep pattern well, because when you plan your sleep pattern, when you plan when you're going to go to bed, because you know when you're going to wake up, it gives you your energy is you're not tired, you're not always running on empty or being tired, because once you're tired, you know that during the day you need to walk, and because you need to walk, you start looking for the energy to walk, and you start nibbling on food. So that's why tackling your sleeping pattern is very important, is would also help curb your overeating habit. Another thing is overcooking. When we cook a lot, and we don't we don't have a plan on what to use the remaining meal for. You just overcook and probably leave it on the counter. You tend to just want to go for seconds and go for thirds. You just, and the food is there, So you just tend to want to eat more and without thinking about it because the food is there, because you overcooked, you cooked more than um you need, you know. And I'm not talking about, because I always, even in my course, I talk about cooking more than a meal's food and freezing the rest, you know. When you do that, that is a plan. That is, you have put that plan together to cook double portion and freeze the rest. That is different. Or cook for lunch the next day. That is different. So you have a plan for what to use the remaining meal for. But when you know overcook, like there's a lot on the kitchen counter, without any plan for the rest and for the remaining, you just keep going for seconds, keep going for seconds. Or when you have a buffet, you put it on the table and you put a lot on the table. You have that, you would have that tendency of wanting to finish it all up because there's so much on the table. And so that is another way that you can curb overeating, by making sure that what you have for a meal is adequate, and putting the rest in the fridge before you tend to want to overeat, or putting it in the freezer, but dealing with the remaining and not just leaving it on the counter. um and so that is one thing. Another thing is when you cook a meal that you cooked for the family, and they are not finding it, like they don't like the meal. You have this guilty feeling of, oh, because I cooked it, I have to finish it all up. I have to now eat their portion because they don't want to eat it. You know that feeling. I've been there, and this can cause you to overeat because you've eaten your portion, and because they're not eating the meal and there's so much on the counter, you're like, oh, I don't want to throw it in the bin. Or look at, because the meal is not, it didn't come out as as delicious as it was supposed to, and now I'm left with it, and you have this guilt of, I have to finish it all up. And there are ways to go about this, because your tummy is not a bin. Okay, that's settled. Right, the kids didn't like it, the husband didn't like it. Okay, and you're stuck with this pot of food. Or the best way to do with it is just chuck it away where you can't see it for a bit. Probably put it in the fridge or put it in the freezer. In the back of your mind, you might not even want to have it. You might think it's so bad that you need to throw it away, but you're feeling like, oh, I don't want to waste it, so I have to eat it all up. Chuck it, put it in the fridge, put it in the freezer till you can deal with it. Because give yourself some time. You find that there's either a way you can salvage the meal, you can modify it, and have it, or eventually you will chuck it in the bin. But having to deal with it at the moment will just cause you to overeat, because you might have just this guilt feeling of, let me just eat as much as I can, because you're feeling that you don't want to throw it away. But to stop you from overeating, the best you can do is chuck it, put it where you cannot see, put it in the fridge, put it in the freezer, and deal with it later. And this will stop you from overeating. Another one is being bored. Overeating and boredom, they go together. That is why, in my previous video, I talked about having a plan. And because when I know most people, they plan their Monday to Friday, because that's the work mode. They're in the work mode, and they know exactly what they should be doing. They know the meals they should have, when to go for meals, when to have lunch, when to, go to bed. People might plan that Monday to Friday, and Saturday and the weekend, they're like, oh, it's the weekend, I'm just going to relax. But that is a can be an issue, because even though you know that the weekend is more relaxed, it is better for you to also have a plan during the weekend. Plan your weekends. Now, having a plan doesn't mean that it should always be a serious plan. Plan your meals, plan everything, plan your relaxation, plan the phone calls, plan the exercise, plan the walks, plan the movies, plan everything. Because when you have a plan, you're not bored. And so you're not reaching for food, because on the weekends, when we want to relax, the next thing we think about is, oh, let me nibble on this chocolate, and oh, let me nibble on this, or let me have that, and then you find out by the end of the Saturday, you're like, oh, what have I done today, or what have I had today? And it wasn't because you were hungry, but because it was just there for you to reach for. And that is why, we have to find, for us to call boredom, for we need to have a plan, and not just plan Monday to Friday, or plan the whole, plan your whole day, plan your whole week, plan your whole month, as I discussed in my previous video. And so I hope this, you will take this on board, the ways you can stop overeating, the things you should look out for, and that makes you overeat. And yeah, I will speak to you later. Bye.